In the 13th century, the Mongol Empire stretched from the coastal regions of China to the Black Sea in Europe. This military machine conquered a fifth of the globe through swift, highly coordinated cavalry assaults that steamrolled everything in their path. By 1266, Kublai Khan set his sights on the isolated island nation of Japan. He sent emissaries with letters demanding immediate submission. Japan's military dictatorship, the Kamakura shogunate, refused to answer. When the Khan sent more envoys, the Japanese authorities dragged them to the beach and beheaded them. To punish this defiance, the Mongols launched two massive invasions. Popular history claims that Japan was saved when the gods summoned a miraculous typhoon, the original kamikaze, or divine wind, that swept the invaders away. Modern marine archaeology offers a different perspective. Decades of deep-water excavations off the Japanese coast have uncovered the physical wreckage of the Mongol fleet, and these ruins reveal a very human failure. Surviving the deadliest empire on Earth required more than luck. It demanded a calculated infrastructure project and a radical departure from traditional warfare. The first Mongol fleet arrived in November 1274, making landfall on the beaches of Hakata Bay. For the defending Japanese forces, this encounter was an immediate, brutal culture shock. The samurai were trained to view war as a venue for personal honor. They expected highly formalized one-on-one combat, initiated by firing a single whistling arrow into the air to challenge a worthy opponent. The Mongols answered those challenges by beating war drums and advancing in tight, shield-locked infantry blocks. They unleashed overwhelming volleys of armor-piercing arrows and fired exploding ceramic bombs, technology the Japanese had never encountered. Overwhelmed, the local defenders were pushed off the beaches and barely held the line. After a long day of intense fighting, the Mongol commanders ordered their troops back to their ships for the night. A rough storm that evening prompted the invaders to retreat to Korea. They left behind a shoreline littered with samurai, who had discovered that individual bravery meant nothing against an organized, industrialized war machine. The shogun, Hojo Tokimune, understood that in a pitched land battle, his forces would be slaughtered. If the Khan returned, the samurai had to deny the Mongols a secure beachhead at the water's edge. The Japanese government spent the next 7 years exhausting its treasury on a massive public works project. They constructed a continuous 20-kilometer-long stone wall along the shores of Hakata Bay, specifically engineered to block cavalry from moving inland. The samurai also overhauled their tactics. They abandoned the old rules of honorable dueling, forming small guerrilla strike teams that would row out under the cover of darkness to set enemy ships on fire. They would need every bit of that preparation. In the summer of 1281, Kublai Khan sent his second invasion force. This time, he deployed 2 combined fleets totaling 4,400 ships, carrying 150,000 soldiers. A decentralized, isolated island society was now the final obstacle for the largest amphibious invasion force in human history. When the vanguard of the Mongol fleet arrived, their plan to storm the beaches hit a literal wall. The stone fortifications prevented their heavy cavalry from securing a landing zone, forcing thousands of invaders to remain trapped on their ships for weeks. This delay exposed a fatal flaw in the Khan's strategy, a vulnerability hidden until modern divers began excavating the waters near Takashima Island. This cross-section shows how ships are typically designed for deep ocean travel. A standard seagoing vessel uses a deep V-shaped hull, but to build his armada quickly, Kublai Khan had repurposed thousands of flat-bottomed riverboats from recently conquered Chinese territories. When you apply lateral force to these designs, the difference becomes critical. The deep keel of the V-hull cuts through the water to stabilize the ship, but a flat-bottomed boat sitting on the ocean surface is highly unstable, prone to tipping and rolling in choppy water. In his rush to overwhelm Japan with sheer numbers, the Khan had constructed a fleet that could not survive heavy seas. He built an armada at the mercy of its environment. In mid-August, with the invasion force still trapped on their unstable boats, Japan's midsummer typhoon season arrived. A massive cyclone bore down on the coast. The flat-bottomed ships were thrown against each other and smashed into the rocky shoreline. Within hours, the storm tore the greatest fleet on Earth to splinters. Those few invaders who managed to wash ashore were quickly hunted down by the samurai. The typhoon acted as the executioner, but it was the samurai and the stone wall they built that acted as the jailers holding the Mongols on the chopping block. The victory proved financially ruinous. Traditionally, the shogunate rewarded its warriors with the land of their defeated enemies. But since the samurai fought only to defend their own shores, there was no new territory to distribute. The government had exhausted its treasury to pay for a defense that offered the fighters no spoils of war. The samurai were left unpaid and resentful, sparking internal rebellions that would eventually collapse the shogunate. The immense human effort that saved Japan ended up destroying its government, leaving behind a myth of divine invincibility that would haunt the nation in the centuries to come.